Hello, welcome back to Healing Mama Podcast. I am Val, aka Healing Mama. I hope you're having a great day. This is episode 20, and the title is Better Not Bitter. So we will go ahead and kick it off with our quote. This is pretty lengthy, so bear with me. This is what you don't do. Don't let this world make you bitter. Don't let the actions of other people turn you cold on the inside. Certain things happen that hurt us, people come that leave us, and most of all, there are moments when you're bound to fail. Don't let those things make you unkind. It's okay to cry, it's okay to be sad, but it's never okay to do other people wrong just because you were wronged. We're human, we break, we make mistakes, but don't let pain and sadness run your lives. Wake up in the morning and do what you think is right. There are moments in your life where you feel like giving up and you can't take it anymore. It's going to be okay. Breathe, inhale, exhale, and know you can be weak, but the things that show your weak side are also the same ones that make you stronger in the long run. It's all about taking whatever life throws at you and learning from it. I loved that one and everything it said, but what really stood out to me was the people leave. People can hurt you. And so that's true. Everybody in this world has experienced some kind of loss. Someone leaving them. It could be a relationship. It could be a parent. It could be a friend, whatever the case is. Somebody has experienced somebody walking away from their life at some point in time. And that's hard. That's really hard to get through, and getting through it and not being bitter about it, not being so resentful about it, and learning that you can be better. You can grow from that exact moment. And I've had this happen to me, and I've had it happen to me recently. So I will get into my story. I always got a story for you guys and how this is in alignment with me. So here we go. Put on your seatbelt. I have never really had a relationship with my dad's mom, so my grandma on my dad's side. Maybe I was in her life for the first 5 years of my life. Then my parents separated, didn't see really much of her. Um, Up until I was 15, I saw her again maybe for 2 or 3 times at the age of 15. Didn't see her again until I was 21 years old. And when I was 21, I started talking to my dad again. And so he had been in and out of my life throughout those years. And so he asked me, he was like, you know what? Will you talk to my mom again? And he's like, I'm talking to her. I really want you to try to give it a chance and let her be in your life. And I had no ill will towards her. I never had any kind of anger or resentment. My grandma on my mom's side had just done such an amazing job at loving us and taking care of us and showing us her support that I never lacked. And so I never felt the need to go and chase something that I felt I was missing. And, growing up, I always was like, hey, you know what? She lives a couple blocks away from my grandma's house. My grandma has lived in the same house for over 30 years. She knows where my grandma lives. She knows how to get a hold of me. If she really wanted that relationship, she would have tried. And like I said, on my end, I just wasn't lacking for anything that I was at that moment caring to look for or that I was hurting for and trying to fix. So, he asked me, will you start talking to my mom? Again, I'm 21 years old. I have my daddy issues. I was wanting to do anything and everything that I could to make him happy, to make him, love me, what I thought he was good, what I thought I needed to do for him to love me anyway, I guess I should say. And so he would tell me jump and I would say how high. That's how bad it was, to where it didn't make sense for a lot of people around me. And not that it needed to make sense. At that point in time, I didn't care what other people said or what they thought. And so I did it. My kids were babies at that time. She met my babies. She maybe went to a birthday. We didn't speak too long before her and my father got into a disagreement. And he's like, you know what? I'm done. They stopped talking to each other. Again, I was 21 at that time. So he's like, you know what? You're not talking to her. You won't have anything to do with her. If you're a friend of my enemy, then we're enemies type of deal. That's how my dad works. And so, with that being said, I let it go. I didn't follow up with her. I never spoke to her again because, in my eyes, my dad was more important than my grandma. So, I was going to do whatever I needed to do to make sure that I kept him in my life. And so, I let that relationship go. Fast forward to last year. So I am 34 at this point in time, last year, and I kept feeling a tugging in my heart, like a tugging in my heart to see how she was doing, to check in on her. And I'm like, nah, girl, you're PMSing or you're emotional or whatever the case is, ignore it. And so I was just doing that. I was ignoring it, and I could, I kept feeling it, and I kept feeling it. And I'm like, geez, like, okay, fine, I'll reach out, because I took it as, it's something that God wanted me to do. And so I reached out to my dad's brother, so my uncle. Again, he is not in my life. I am not close to anyone in my dad's family, on my dad's side of the family. So I reached out on Facebook and I was like, hey, I just wanted to see how you're doing. I hope your mom's doing good. I've had her on my mind. And it was your typical, trying to brush somebody off reaction, like, oh, hey, she's doing good. I hope you're doing well. Have a great day type of deal. And not that I was expecting him to be like, oh, hey, Val, how are you? So I brushed it off and I was like, okay, wash my hands of it. I did my part. Still getting the tugging, still getting the tugging. And it was like every single day she was crossing my mind, to where I think I had even told my mom, like, Mom, I don't know why I can't stop thinking about her. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to talk to her. And my mom was like, oh, I don't know. Do it if you want to do it. Don't if you don't. And so fast forward 2 weeks, I get a friend request from her. So I accepted it and I reached out to her and I said, hey, I hope you're doing well. I've been thinking about you lately. I hope you're in good health. Just wanted to let you know there's no ill will. I've never had any kind of anger or resentment towards you. And just to let you know, there's never any bad blood. If ever you want to talk or chat or meet up for breakfast, maybe we could do that one. So she responded, yeah, same here. You're my granddaughter. You'll always be my granddaughter, this, that, and the third. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I did my part. Still thinking that I was going to be good. No, I kept feeling the tug and feeling the tug. And I'm like, God, I already reached out to somebody that I don't talk to. Then I reached out to her directly. Like, how much more do you want me to do? And kept feeling the tug. And so I reached out to her again and I'm like, hey, would you like to join me for breakfast or brunch? So she was like, yeah, sure. So I picked her up. We went out to breakfast. We caught up, talking to her about how life is, how she's been, how her health is. And she asked me if I spoke to my dad or how my dad was doing. And I told her, honestly, I haven't spoken to my father in like the last year. Um, and so this was before I had set boundaries with my dad. Me and my dad, like I said, he's been in and out of my life my entire life. So when he would get upset or I would get upset, we would stop talking. And so, I told her, I haven't spoken to him. We had gotten into it and I haven't talked to him since. So she was like, oh, yeah, I haven't talked to your dad in 10 years. I'm also not talking to my daughter. I haven't talked to her in like 5 years. So this is something that happens frequently throughout my dad's side of the family. We get upset, we don't talk to each other. And that is super not healthy. And learning that that relationship with my father was something that is passed down generation to generation. And it's going to stop with me. Anyways, I digressed. I'm getting into something else. That's for another topic. But so I told her that I hadn't spoken with him. And I kid you not, that next week, I get a phone call or a text message from my dad's wife. And she's telling me, hey, I don't mean to bug you, but I just wanted to let you know, and I thought you should know that your dad is in the hospital. He's not looking too good. He's having issues. They think it's his heart. And I instantly went into that little girl mode with like, oh my God, my dad is sick. Like, I need to take care of him. Like, I need to show him that I love him. I need to show him that I'm there. I need to be the number one of me taking care of him. And so I was still not healed yet. I still hadn't gotten to the point to where I respected myself enough to know that that wasn't what's best for me. So I went ahead. I told my husband, I'm like, hey, I know I haven't talked to my dad in a year, but I am on the next flight out. and I'll be in Cali tonight. So he's like, sure, whatever. I got you. I'm going to hold the house down. I got the kids. I got the dogs. And so I, number one, want to give my husband a huge shout out because he always has my back. He doesn't have to always agree with me, but he will always do whatever I need and whatever's in my best interest. And that's amazing. And we've come so, so far. And so I'm so grateful for that. But like I said, I told him I was on the next flight out, and I was. I packed my stuff. I went to the airport, and I was in California that night. So I walked in, hadn't talked to him in a year, pretending like nothing happened, just picked up where we left off. Super unhealthy, by the way. Don't do that. And so I walked in and I started taking care of him. I laid and slept in a hospital bed for 2 weeks, trying to prove to him that I was there and that I wasn't going to leave his side and that I loved him. And while I was there, I told him, like, hey, how would you feel if your mom was here? Or do you want your mom to know? And he's like, no, not really. Like, I haven't talked to her in years. Like, I don't think she should know. If she cared, she would call. I'm like, well, how is she supposed to know something's going on? And he was like, no. And I said, okay, well, I just want to let you know that a couple of months ago, I reached out to her. And most recently, last week, I had breakfast with her. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, God had been tugging at my heart, this, that, and the other. So I told him the story, and he's like, well, if you're talking to her and you want to let her know, you can. So I reached out to her. I called her. I had them talk. She was crying. She let him know, like, hey, you're my son. No matter what, I'm going to be here for you. She was on the next flight out the next day. So it was crazy to look at it from a different perspective and to look at it from a bigger picture. That when I think about this situation, I was, in a sense, not talking to her for myself. I was talking to her because my dad was going to need her. And I had no clue. Like I said, I was like, man, like, okay, I already did my part. Like, why do I keep feeling this? And if I wouldn't have had that sit down breakfast with her, maybe that wouldn't have happened. But to know that when my dad was needing her most, she was able to have a conversation with him through me. I was able to see that that was divine purpose. And even to this day, he's in a hospital needing an open heart transplant, and I'm sure she's there with him. I wouldn't know that. And that's where we get into the better, not bitter part. But before we do that, like I said, I feel like I was used as a vessel to help them reconnect their relationship because he did need her, and he was going to need her, or he is going to need her even more. And without me, that wouldn't have happened. So not seeing that from like a place of, yeah, without me, that wouldn't have happened. Seeing a place of amazement and in awe of, wow, I listened and there was a purpose to it. And it wasn't even a purpose that was necessarily for me, but I was used as a tool, as a vessel to help somebody else. And so where the bitter, not better part comes in, sorry, I know I had to give you that back side of things for you to understand this. So I was on good terms with my dad's mom, and I had also reconnected with my dad's aunt, so she would be my great aunt, and another aunt that I still talk to this day. She's watching. So Tia, if you're watching, I love you. Thank you. And so my dad's mom and my other Tia, I was trying to build a relationship with them, trying to reconnect with them, and I had realized about a month ago that I hadn't heard from them. And so I was like, that's odd. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to reach out to my tia and just message her on Facebook. So I went to go look her up, and she wasn't there anymore. So she had unfriended me and blocked me. So I'm like, okay, not sure what I did. And then I go to look up my dad's mom, and she unfriended me and blocked me. And so that's where the better, not bitter part comes in, because that stung, because it took me back to my childhood traumas of not feeling good enough, feeling like I was trash and I could be tossed aside at any moment, feeling disrespected because I had done nothing but good things for them. I had done nothing but help them. I had done nothing but talk to them, I had done nothing but been friendly with them. So to feel all those things, it really cut deep. And so, I called my mom and I'm like, hey, like, this happened. And she's like, what? Like, did something happen? I'm like, no, like, they just cut me off cold, like no explanation, no nothing. She's like, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, I don't understand. And so I told her, I know why they did. Again, my dad is if you're a friend of my enemy, you're an enemy of mine. So I am more than certain. He was like, hey, if you're talking to Valerie, we're not cool. And of course, they're going to pick him. And I totally get that. And he needs you more than I do. So by all means, please support him. But to work through the pain that I felt when that happened, the hurt, the triggers, it took me a good 24 hours. I did go through it, and I was going through the motions, and I was like, hey, like, I feel disrespected. I feel hurt. I feel this, that, and the other. And it was something that I needed to really soak in and work through myself, find my center, meditate, ground, be grateful for what I had, be grateful that I have a grandma on my mom's side who does more than enough to fulfill that need of me having a grandma who loves me so much, and to be grateful for that, because I could be grandmaless right now. Let's just be honest. And to know that I still have a tia from my dad's side that still checks on me, who supports me, and I have my family, my mom, my husband, and being grateful for that, because I have those strong people in my life. And so looking at it and realizing that it was a lesson. It was a lesson, and that I need to be better, and I need to get past those traumas and get past those triggers and work on myself and become that better person. Because when I look back at that situation, I was the tool or the vessel that was used to connect my grandma with her son, who she hadn't spoken to in 10 years, to even connect her with her daughter, who she hadn't spoken to in like 5 years. And at one point in time, she told me, you're the angel that God sent me to get my kids back, to talk to my kids, because she hadn't spoken to anybody. Um, and so looking at that and taking it in and realizing that, it was for a purpose. And all those times that I was feeling pulled, it was because I needed to fulfill that purpose. And at the end, I was hurt, but it showed me to look at it from a deeper perspective, and to also allow myself the opportunity to grow through a trigger, and to go through those emotions and grow through it, because I am learning and I'm growing through every situation. But learning to be better and not being bitter and not holding that in my heart. I could have easily been like, you know what? F you, you're this, you're that. That's what I would have done in the past. I would have talked mad stuff. I would have been disrespectful. I would have gone off. But there's no need for that. We're grown. And I'm able to see that there's no need for that, because I fulfilled my purpose in that relationship. I fulfilled my purpose in getting my dad what he needed, even if he didn't know he needed it. Because my dad held so much anger and so much resentment and frustration towards his mom that he couldn't see past that. He couldn't see past his pain. And now he needs her most. And I would always tell him, you know what? You can be 80 years old and you're still going to need your mom. You can be 90 years old and you're still going to want your mom. And at some point in time, your mom's not going to be here anymore. So why continue to be so upset and be so hurt and not try to fix it? And so I wish them all, my tia, my dad's mom, my grandma, my dad, I wish them all the best, and I send them so much love and positivity. I don't need to be friends with you or to be close to you to send you good vibes or to not hate you. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope that you are happy. I hope that you're healthy. And I hope that you find peace in the decisions that you've made. And I know I have, and I know that I am better for every single decision. I am better for every single insight and view to my situations and to what I've been through. And I'm learning and I'm growing. And I just challenge you guys, be better, not bitter. Bitterness is only going to hurt you. It's only going to bring you down. It's only going to draw negative energy towards you. And you don't want that. Let it go. It's not your weight to carry. It's somebody else's burden, not yours. So be better always. And it just makes me think of, like I said, old Val and what I would do. And I would always tell people, in the past before I started working on myself, it's always chess, never checkers. And what I meant by that is I would always tell you, I'm 2, 3 steps ahead of you. You think that you got me? No, I got you. And now I'm transitioning. It's not chess. It's better, not bitter. Because I am not trying to be 2, 3 steps ahead of you. I want you to do good. I want you to be great. I just want to be better and I want to learn and I want to grow. So I will continue to do that. And so knowing that everything that is happening that I am learning from, it's intended to be difficult so that I can grow and so that I can get better. And so, like I said, it stung for a good 24 hours. Then I got past it. I even told my mom, you know what? I didn't answer your call because I needed time. I needed time for myself. I needed time to heal, but I'm proud of myself because I was able to acknowledge that I needed that time and I was able to acknowledge that I needed to take that time for myself and not feel guilty for not answering calls or not talking to somebody about it, at that point in time because I was able to grow. That will wrap up this episode. I just wanted to share stuff with you. My goal is to always share what's going on in my life and share my experiences and how I'm learning and growing, and hope that you guys can learn and grow with me along the way. And I'm always here if you ever need to talk to anybody. And I send you so much love, peace, joy, happiness, and I hope you have an amazing day and weekend. And until next time, have a great one, guys. Bye.